Welcome to episode 3 of Three Guys and a Record podcast. I'm glad you're here with us. I'm your host, Coach K. With us is Brad, co-host, and Doug, co-host.
Thanks.
Well, tonight we got Three Guys news update with Doug. We've got a sponsor, Replay Toy sponsor. We got a surprise game that I didn't tell you guys about called Guess the Song. I'll tell you why when we get to it. We got a fan shout out of the week. People are following us on TikTok and interacting with this guy, and he loves our podcast, so I'm gonna give him a little shout out. We got Who Did It Better, and lastly, we're gonna do Fishing for Flashbacks, some tunes that we think should get another look from people. So, Doug, I think we're gonna Three Guys news update with Doug. All right, go for it, Doug.
Okay, a couple of things I scoured from the internet. So the long-awaited 40th anniversary tour of Look What the Cat Dragged In, Poison Tour, now looks like it's not going to happen. According to Ricky Rocket, the other three members are all signed on, ready to go, but Bret Michaels is not signing up. Apparently wants the lion's share of the tour money and doesn't want to be splitting it up with the other guys. And so that's a sticking point. So it sounds like at this point that it's a no-go, and Bret's just going to keep doing his solo band. And
so we're going to miss out on the same 12 songs that we heard the 7 other times. We either saw Poison or Bret Michaels.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
Me and my wife are totally looking forward to that. That would have been awesome. At the stadium tour, we thought they were the best band out of all 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even my son and his buddies that went along, and they probably knew, like, talked dirty to me and maybe heard nothing but a good time. But at the end of the night, when they came back, and we loved them better than Def Leppard. They were better than Motley Crue. And, it's just too bad that they came on so early in the night. So, they were at the Viking Stadium, and just all the sun was coming in. So no lasers, no lights. It's almost performing in the broad daylight. So I thought that was an opportunity missed on their part, where they could have went out on tour after that and maybe doubled up with somebody else and did an arena tour and cashed in. But
I'd be curious to see what kind of song set list they would have. Again, we've talked about this before, but there's so many other Poison songs that they just never play.
Yeah,
Bret Michaels will never do. So I'll take your word at they were pretty good. So it's still fun. It was still fun. I mean, even though Brad and I saw Bret Michaels twice, he played pretty much the same songs, but they're still, it's still part of our youth. So they're still fun.
and it would have been nice because, even with the 5 bands playing, so I think they had like a 45-minute, maybe an hour set, so if they could have went out with just 2 bands and had a longer set, and they pretty much covered all the bases in just that short set that they did. So it would have been nice to get a few deeper cuts, and it's good for the long fans. So that's a bummer. And so that's tour's not happening. And a surprise tour to me that is. And you can add this to another list of people who said this is the final tour, no more. Is Twisted Sister is going to go out for the 50th anniversary of Stay Hungry for the
They just lost what was it, their drummer?
AJ Pirro. AJ Pirro. So AJ Pirro's obviously not going to be part of it. And Mark Mendoza, the bass player, he's not interested in going out. But in an interview with JJ French, he said that, if you look back at their history, between drummers and bass players, they had like 18 different members. So between JJ French, and Eddie Ojeda, those are the 3 that have been there since the beginning. So they still consider it the tour.
I was wondering, like, you just slap, and Dee Snider is not stopped. So it's like Dee Snider just slaps out, okay, is it Dee Snider? Is it Widowmaker? Is it Twisted Sister? What are you slapping on it? And it's pretty much going to be, no offense to the other guys, but so are they going to go out in full costume?
No, they pretty much dropped the makeup. I think they said in 2008.
Oh, really?
And, JJ French said, he goes, that was the best thing we ever did. We weren't Kiss. It just, people already know what we look like. So what were we trying to, we're not going full drag like we were in the early club days. So
but the 50th anniversary, like you got to pull that out, man. Like,
Yeah,
come on. I mean,
yeah,
Kiss is back and make again. They're not Kiss, but like pull it
yeah,
out, but maybe not.
yeah. So,
So they got
so
any tour dates, or is it just kind of talk
not
right now?
posted yet. The interviewer was asking, are they going to do a full worldwide tour, or are they just going to do all they've done in the past and just do 14, 15 select dates and just hope that one of the cities is somewhere within a driving distance of you? So, and he said that's yet to be determined, but
Yeah.
fingers crossed for Minnesota Shore show.
Well, they got a good stadium built now over
Yeah,
at Mystic Lake Casino. I've seen just mock-ups of it, but it looks pretty cool. It kind of
yeah.
reminds me a
Oh,
little of the one Brad and I went to in Indiana, the Ruoff or whatever that is.
and I wouldn't be shocked to see if a tour go there because Live Nation is just promoting the hell out of that place. It's like every big band in our genre that's coming to town next year is there. So
It
it's
would
just gonna be
be
crickets everywhere else.
right. It would be nice if it was a little bit more affordable.
Yeah.
Like those concerts. I mean, I guess they got to pay for the construction, but holy cow,
But
those
but I was shocked because my son and his buddies were talking about going to the Avenged Sevenfold show there. And I
okay.
told him, well, everything else has been selling out quick. You better get tickets
Hmm.
and be prepared. And I looked online, there were still tickets available and they weren't middle of the Coliseum. It was like 130 bucks. So it's them and Good Charlotte.
Okay.
So yeah. So I'm not
Well,
real familiar with Good Charlotte. So, but
I got a few songs that I like. Guns N' Roses priced me out though.
oh yeah.
I was pretty tempted to join the fan club, to try to get the early tickets, and then I went on there to see how much they all these prices were. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't do that because
Yeah.
like
Oh, you,
I can't justify if it was 1991, I could probably
so you
justify
weren't
it.
going to pony up for those, what were the first front row with like 5 grand?
Yeah,
The,
that was
you pull up?
yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, to see a 70-year-old Axel up there.
Yeah, I mean, even the lawn seats, I can't remember how much the lawn seats were, but they just priced me out. And,
Yeah,
I think I learned my lesson with Motley Crue. Again, I had fun with you guys and I love Motley Crue, but I think sometimes my nostalgia kicks in. I'm like, oh, I gotta go see this. And it's like, do I really want to pay this much money? I'm kind of getting that there's a level where I will pay
yeah.
to see just
Speaking of high prices and paying, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Vinnie Vincent, the Ankh Warrior himself, ex-Kiss, ex-Vinnie Vincent Invasion, is coming out with some new tunes.
really.
And yeah, so the first tune is he's selling. At first, it was going for $300 for the one song, a limited edition of 1,000 copies available.
Really,
And
really.
then he put it on discount for $225 a song. Bumped up, oh, and now he's gonna make 1,500 available.
Okay, so what for like an MP3 or
Yeah,
like a disc
yeah,
or a vinyl
yeah.
or what's he
Yeah,
doing?
I don't know if it was a digital download or what it was, but yeah, so he was getting a lot of flack from fans and he was chirping back, and saying, that this is so good. This is this is worth more than a whole entire album of most other bands. You're getting a steal at this 225.
Did
Yeah,
he say how many are sold or does it show how many are
no, it
sold?
didn't. So no.
Do you get some
So
kind of I got
so
number 232 out of 1500
yeah,
something
and
of like a plaque?
it sounds like his record he's got I think 5 or 7 songs coming out, so he's gonna piecemeal it each time. So super fans get ready to
He
pay
could
about
make
1,500, $1,800 for the whole CD collection.
he could make
Enjoy.
$500.
Yeah. Hey, a man's got to eat, man.
Right.
I think
Did
what
he
he's
ask
trying to say in
did he
English is, I'm broke and I need some money.
Yeah.
right. That he's not getting any of them Kiss royalties?
Not
No.
enough.
Those two are pretty stingy on everything contract related. I heard Professor Rock, he was interviewing Gene Simmons and they were talking about Peter Criss even. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like these two are crazy." Well, did he talk to Mark Slaughter to get him
Yeah.
to sing to sing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Vincent's Invasion 2.0. Yeah. No,
I
I think
don't
that bridge has been burned.
Oh,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, it was bad blood when him and Mark Dana Strum left.
yeah.
And
Oh, they were
yeah.
both with him?
Oh yeah, and then Bob Rock, the drummer who's with Lita Ford right now, was their drummer. And then Vinnie Vincent came to Dana Strum, said, I'm firing Mark Slaughter, we'll find another singer. And Dana's like, no, I'm going with him. We'll see ya. And then they went out, and that's what where Slaughter came from. So from the remnants of that. So
Wow, that's a good little nugget that I didn't know about. But
oh yeah.
what
So
else going on?
the albums that are coming down the pipeline. Lita Ford is in the studio cutting tracks for an upcoming summer release. Obviously, we already know Heaven's Edge is wrapping up.
Yeah, shout out
Uh,
to Heaven's Edge, and hopefully you'll see this podcast and want to get a little interview and plug that new record of yours.
yeah, so we're really looking forward to record number 3 from them. Stripers and putting the polishing touches on their next record. So look, and according to Robert Sweet, he said if you're a fan of To Hell with the Devil, you're gonna love this. It's getting back to the roots, and he hyping up, saying this is probably gonna be our best record we've came out with. And he goes, I know I've said that about every record, but this one is extra special.
So 1,500 a song?
So,
That good?
and another group we were talking about last episode, Black Crows, have a new record coming out this
Really?
summer called A Pound of Feathers.
Didn't the
So
brothers like having a hard time like recording with each other or whatever? Like they always had issues or
they were, last I heard, they made nice and they were getting along. And if you're a Bullet Boys fan, just announced that Mark Sweet, a guitar player, is rejoining the band. So going back to part of the original lineup. And so he is doing double duty. So he's also a guitar player in Ricky Rocket's band, basically a cover band. They take 70s and 80s obscure songs and try to make hard rock versions of it. How that's going to work out between touring with the Bullet Boys. And so other than that, just give a shout out to the music world this weekend. Lost the legend and Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead, founding member. So a little out of our genre that we normally talk about, but still, a big name in the industry. That's another one's gone.
Was he one of them that kept touring with the Further Festival, or did he stop touring? I remember
That I'm not sure.
Carol and I won tickets to Chicago to go see the Further Festival. We ended up not seeing the Black Rose, but we saw like Arlo Guthrie, and there was two members of the Grateful Dead. I don't remember which ones, but the Deadheads were still following them around,
Yeah.
asking for money and food and stuff.
And buy my tie-dyes. Yeah.
Yep. I don't
Tie-dye
know.
this, tie-dye that. Yeah, sad to hear about
Yeah.
another legend passing.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for this week's What's in the News.
Awesome.
Dusty shelves hold secrets untold, a galaxy far or a train of gold, Star Wars dreams or Lego beams. It's time to play and replay today. With replay toys we find our way to childhood's door where joy will stay.
We want to thank our sponsor for this episode, Replay Toys out of Appleton, Wisconsin. Looking for fun that never gets old? Discover Replay Toys in Appleton, Wisconsin. From classic favorites to today's must-have toys, games, and collectibles, Replay Toys is where playtime gets a second life. Big imaginations, big savings, and smiles for every age. Whether you're shopping for a gift or just a little nostalgia, the fun starts here. Replay Toys. If you're near the Appleton area, visit Replay Toys today. And you show them this 15% off coupon, you'll get 15% off. All right, so this is a surprise game. I was thinking, I thought of this game the other day on the way to lunch. I was listening to a song. One of the songs is going to be on here. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool lyric. I don't know if I've ever or heard that before, like really listened to the lyric. So there's just a few of these. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a lyric on there. So Doug or Brad,
So we're trying to guess the band or the band?
you're going to say
song?
the band and the song.
Okay.
Sound good? Dancing with my shadow, and I let my shadow lead.
Not ringing a bell to me.
Nothing.
Brad?
All right.
Nope.
All right. Off to a great start. Warrant, 32 pennies.
Mm,
Does it ring a bell now or no?
No.
no.
Okay. All right. I picked a bad one to start. Was vaccinated with a phonograph needle one summer break.
I know that one.
All right.
Bon Jovi. It was toward the end of the Keep the Faith album. Was that For the Love of or something Love of Rock and Roll? For the Love of Rock and
Well,
Roll.
I'm going to insert the buzz. Doug, you got a guess?
I have not a clue.
It is none other than David Lee Roth. A
Oh,
little late enough.
Mm,
You remember it now? Oh, you were starting to sing it.
yeah, now
like-
it's starting to come.
And the horse stampedes and rages in the name of desperation.
Oh, in the name of desperation, is it all just wasted time? Skid Row.
Yeah, you are correct.
Yeah, I got one.
And we got a song out of you too. So for the millions of viewers.
No, the dogs are howling in the background.
Everybody's got opinions, but nobody's got the answers. And the shit you ate for breakfast, well, it'll only give you cancer.
Doug,
Yeah.
I know it's Cinderella. Is that Somebody Save Me? No.
yeah.
Brad, do you agree with that?
I agree with that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cinderella. Somebody save me.
Nice. Woohoo!
We
Two
didn't get
points.
we didn't get you to sing it though.
Somebody save me. There you go.
With an ironclad fist, I wake up and French kiss the morning.
Oh, Brad.
Yeah.
There's the Bon Jovi one that I think it was the same album I guessed earlier, just a different song.
Yeah. Which song would that be?
I think this one's Better Roses, right?
Yep. Better Roses, Bon Jovi. Strange how laughter looks like crying with no sound. Raindrops taste like tears without the pain.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's Queensryche, Silent City.
Brad, you got a steal?
It's Queensryche, but it's not Silent Lucidity.
Oh, yeah.
Can you sing it for me? Do you know which one it is, Brad?
uh,
It is Queensryche.
it's Queensryche. It's on the Empire album, same
Yep.
album as
Well, you can probably guess by
I know it now.
one of the lyrics in there is part of the title. You got a second guess, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just another rainy night without you.
Yep. All right. Well, that does it. Or guess the song. So now we're gonna do a
Yes!
a fan shout out of the week. So our fan this week is Charlie X from TikTok. His TikTok is attached. You can see his username there. He's a proud member of Gen X and loves classic music. His page discusses all things music as well as music trivia nights, which is how I met him. And Charlie is just an all-around great guy. Thank you, Charlie, for being an awesome fan. 11,000.
Charlie X, you rock, dude.
He does rock. 11,000 followers. So if you ever get late at night on TikTok, go over to his page. Loves talking music. Loves our show. So there's your shout out, Charlie. Okay, we've got a fun little Who Did It Better this week. Song Smash. These are going to be different probably from here on out, but a little backstory on this one. So what we're really going to do is find bands that have similar song names and figure out which song is better, which ones we think is better. This one's a little bit of a spoof because my wife is a huge New Kids on the Block fan, unfortunately. But she,
Oh,
you know, I'm,
whose wives weren't back in the day?
and if Randy, you're watching, you know that I got a New Kids on the Block cassette for Christmas, and we went out to the woods and had a New Kids on the Block burning party, and we burned it.
Oh,
We have pictures of that. Maybe if I can find them, I'll put them on here. Um, but you know, I always make fun of her song, and when it comes on, you know, if I'm not allowed to skip it or whatever. And then we're driving on our way to a movie, and Tesla's Hang Tough came on, and she proceeded to rip on that because because it's similar title, and I
yeah.
ripped on her Hanging Tough. So who did it better? Tesla Hang Tough or New Kids on the Block Hanging Tough?
All
Doug,
right, I'll take.
what do you think?
I mean, I'll admit the whoa. I mean, that's catchy as hell. You know, for a pop song and stuff. But you know, I mean, come on, it's Tesla. That you know, that no competition. I mean, Tesla. I mean, their first record, Mechanical Resonance. That's personally my Desert Island record.
Really?
You know, I love that from start to back. To me, no fillers. I don't skip any songs on that.
Yeah, Tesla's one of those bands that's up in the elite category for me, and I I didn't need to own any New Kids on the Block memorabilia or discs or cassettes to get my fill. If you were if you had MTV on
Yeah.
or the radio in 1988, 1989, you were getting plenty of it. So
Yeah.
I don't need to hear any of those songs ever again.
I did win tickets. I think it was to Billy Idol. We had a radio station that did top 9 at 9, and I won't say what I said on the air,
Guess what? What? You're caller 9!
but they actually let it go through on the air. But the number one song that day was New Kids on the Block. I didn't say New Kids on the Block, but um, I'm gonna go through each song here. Tesla, Hang Tough. It's got encouraging lyrics. You know, when you get knocked down, get back up. It's got good guitars, good message. About 2/3 of the way through that song, it has just an awesome breakdown. So if you're not familiar with Hang Tough, put it on and listen about 2/3 of the way through, and all of a sudden, like, oh, that's a pretty awesome breakdown. Now, New Kids on the Block. I did find one nice thing to say, but let's go through this. Start off right off the bat, electric fake drums, crazy whistles. Like, what are you doing here? They're gonna put us in a trance with a funky song. Okay. Don't cross them. They're tough. I'm gonna put tough in quotation marks.
Yeah.
And then this part that really gets me is we're rough. So I got 3 question marks after we're
Hey,
rough.
you seen Donnie nowadays? Don't want to be messing with him, man.
Yep.
The only thing rough is this song. You know, here's my one good thing I'm gonna say about this one. The organ break. They have a little organ break in it. I don't know. Hopefully you guys listen for your homework, but they have a little organ break in it. It was pretty cool, but very unnecessary. Doesn't even go with the song. So
Yeah.
I think we got this one 3-0 Tesla this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I was worried about doing the homework for this, I'm like, oh my God, now Spotify is gonna start shooting me, 98 Degrees and Backstreet Boys and in between all my regular playlists. Like, oh man. I have to go and edit my history and try to edit that song out.
I'm not even gonna say what Spotify thinks you are. Yeah, you. Oh, I thought you were gonna say the only thing I was worried about is all of a sudden my wife or kids are hearing me listening to that.
Oh,
from upstairs or something like that.
no,
It's
that was
research.
yeah, I swear.
I'm doing it for science.
Yeah, Mike made me listen to it. Blame him.
I'm sure I'm going to be in the doghouse for this segment of who did it better, but stay tuned next week. I'm sure we're going to have ones that are going to be a little bit more competitive. But we got our segment here called Fishing for Flashbacks. Each of us picked 5 songs that maybe deserve a little attention and a little life pumped back in for another listen. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the songs that each of us picked. The people that picked the 5 songs will go through the song, and then the other 2 give their thoughts. All right, first song up is Blue Murder, Valley of the Kings. And Brad, I believe you were the one that chose this, so I'm going to have you start us off.
Yeah, I talked previously about that Blue Murder album that came out, the self-titled one in 1989. After John Sykes left Whitesnake, he went and started up his own 3-piece band with Tony Franklin and Carmen Appice, depending on how you say the
Yeah,
drummer's name.
depends on which brother you ask. Yeah.
Right. But this, I believe, was the first single and video off of that album that they showed on MTV. It kind of has an epic sound to it. And when I saw the video for it, I was like, yeah, these guys are pretty cool. I need to check them out and get the album. So this was the first song that I heard from them, and still one of the tracks that I tend to gravitate towards on that particular record, even though I think the whole thing is awesome.
Yeah, I mean that was a good choice for a song. And what I love the intro. And when I listen to that, and I'm just thinking, okay, all the lights in the arena go out, the curtains are still, and that's all you here's the drum part. I'm like, wow, what an opening for a concert this would be. Just the drums and the bass kicking, and then as soon as the guitar kicks in, and the whole band, the drapes fall, lights come on. I mean, yeah, really good opening song. Curious to see if they actually did use that as the opening.
Yell at you, Doug, because you stepped on my touchdown call. Basically, I said, nice opening. Could see starting a concert with. Is exactly what I was thinking. Decent and unique guitar solo. Not a fan. Although I'm not a fan of the lyrics, I like the thematic structure of the song. Like the Egyptian. I didn't see the video, but then after I heard it, I looked a little bit up. I didn't watch the video yet, but I saw that was what it was about or whatever. And the fact that it's not a typical song about love and exactly how you described it, the lights coming down and they start their concert with that. I would be surprised if they didn't, but
And I mean, just insane guitar playing by John Sykes. I mean, yeah, what a monster he is on guitar. Mannerisms and stuff, you can still hear it. It sounds like, Whitesnake 87 Part 2, and a lot of the guitar licks.
yeah, before we get too far into this too, like if anybody's watching this and have any comments on any of these songs that we're talking about, or maybe want us to cover, something that we haven't covered, or maybe something you don't think we've heard before or whatever, just put it in the comment section for sure, and would love to hear from what your opinions are on these songs. We got Blue Murder again, this time Out of Love.
Out of love again.
Yeah,
Brad,
this
I'm gonna
track
have
off
you.
the same album. This is probably considered the power ballad on the album, or one of the power ballads, I guess you would say. I likened this one a little bit to it has a little bit of a "Is This Love" feel from
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say
Whitesnake
same
album.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Over time, I really gravitated toward this one, where I think I like this one even better.
Really?
Yeah, this one, it has some power to it that is it's one of those songs, and there aren't a ton of songs that I do this with, where I'll put it on repeat and listen to the same song over and over again. I can do that with this one. And this is one of those where I thought it was one of the highlights of the album.
But it's funny how
Yeah.
you say you repeat over and over because that's kind of what I did with the homework was while I was working, just put you guys' songs on and just try to hit them on repeat so I can try to really get a good grasp of them. And I'll let Doug go last on this one. It's not my favorite ballad of all time, I'll tell you that. But what I really, however, you can like really feel his pain. He says he wishes he's never been born. Like just to say that in the song, that's a tough. I mean, there's probably some real pain behind that. The guitar solo was really awesome. I love the guitar solo on that song.
Yeah, I mean this wasn't a song I was real familiar with. I just basically knew Jelly Roll and Valley of the Kings, but listening to this over and over. I was driving around today playing it in my car by myself, and I was just singing the chorus, this is top of my lungs, just going on. And I'm like, yeah,
That's how you got
I'm
your
glad
vocal. You got your vocal
I'm-
cords greased up today.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I was glad that Brad brought that up, and so I could check it out. And I'm definitely gonna put Blue Murder in my heavier rotation.
Yeah, and I didn't listen to the rest of the album on purpose because
I did, and I got a
you did.
tangent at the end. One thing to
Okay.
bring up.
It does make me want to go when you guys bring up these songs, and there might be stuff that I like or don't like, or the people viewing like or don't like, but I want to go back quickly to Vane, our last episode. Like some of them songs are getting on me a little bit now. You know, I was pretty I'm sorry to Vane if you ever saw our podcast. I mean, I know we we tagged you in a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but I was in the minority. But you know what? It's growing on me because putting them on like the small clips, they started growing on me. So I think for sure on this album, I want to give it the whole thing a listen to, and I'll probably like this song a little bit more than the first go run on it. But yeah, so I think it's worth a bring up as well. And lastly, for Blue Murder, we got Jelly Roll. Brad, tell us why you picked Jelly Roll.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called Jelly Roll, but this one's kind of a
I'll tell you in a bit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
It
I had to look it up because
yeah.
now that I like Jelly Roll the artist, because when I first saw Jelly Roll the artist, I'm like, I know Jelly Roll is a song from Blue Murder, but anyways, go on.
Yeah, the first I would say half of the song is kind of a catchy acoustic style song, and then it kind of breaks off into this almost power ballad type feel that is really catchy and can really stick with you. And when it's done, you're like, stays in your head. And I never realized that they did a video of this until much later. I don't think I ever saw the video on MTV, but they did, and I ended up seeing it later on. So yeah, I think they did try to release this one as a single. I don't know how well it really did. One of the other standout tracks on the album for me.
Again, I'm gonna wedge my way past Doug because that first touchdown call that he stepped on that got me a little nervous here. But all I can say is this song is a classic. I mean, I love this song. And I had to look up because now I was curious. Back then, I don't think I was curious. It was just called Jelly Roll, and I just,
And I don't know what it is, so I'm curious what you're gonna
It's-
say here.
Jelly Roll is a slang for sex, basically. This is the gist I got out of the research that I did. I like that it's a bit of a funky bluesy sound. The breakdown, like Brad was talking about, the breakdown at the end of the end changes the whole tone of the song, but it works. Because love can break your heart, you know. And the first part of the song, he's basically obsessed and excited. The first part of the song, he's obsessed and excited about this love. but then it breaks your heart. I mean, again, I feel like some of these songs feel a little personal, when they write them like that, like you're really going after this girl and you're just excited with the Jelly Roll part of it, and then you realize, oh, that sucks. And like the whole shift in tone of the song, you can feel that. And I just think that's a really cool way to do it in the song. So
Yeah, it was. What I love about the song, it's it's like a part A and a part B. The first part professing, how he feels about her, and pouring out his heart, and then it's all of a sudden like, okay, now he gets dumped, and now he's just gonna wail at this guy's, oh, love can break your heart, you know. Yeah, it's just, and I mean, intro, the 12-string acoustic part, I hadn't heard anything quite like that. So that was pretty inventive. That really, really hooky, really catchy.
it'd be cool if Jelly Roll did the Jelly Roll cover. That would be pretty cool. All right, our next song is by Black and Blue. It's called Hold On to 18.
Yeah, hold on to 18 as in hold on to when you're 18 years old, because that's when you peak and it's never going to get better than that.
Oh,
So that's yeah, so Black and Blue, that was one of those bands that we've talked about previously as well that kind of flew under the radar, but ironically they provide some influence to some of our other heroes. Tommy Thayer ended up, after Black and Blue broke up, he ended up in a Kiss tribute band and then ended up as one of the roadies on the tour that they put the makeup back on. And after Ace bowed out, he filled in for him and became Ace. So between
nice.
that and hearing I think after Bon Jovi had recorded 7,800 Degrees Fahrenheit, they wanted to grow up a little bit and change their sound and not have songs that are all about girls and partying. So they took some influence from Black and Blue and wanted to kind of mimic some of their sound in terms of the chorus and the vocals. So when they went and got I think it was Michael Bearbu or Fairburn, I can't remember his name, but the guy who produced this song, Hold On to 18, was also helped do Slippery When Wet for Bon Jovi, and they were trying to capture that similar sound. So I don't know that you can necessarily hear Living on a Prayer in this song, but there's some roots, I think, there that it's one of those catchy songs from the the mid 80s, from a band that had a pretty good sound overall and for whatever reason didn't get the recognition from the MTV crowd that some of the other bands at the time did get.
So this was actually the second song I heard from them. So I'll Be There For You was actually my entry point to Black and Blue, even though I know this song came out the record before. So it's good to go back and give this whole record a swing. And I mean, yeah, super catchy. I mean, just great. I wonder why they didn't get a little bit better, more mainstream. I mean, because great songwriting, catchy. I mean, everything that I look for.
Well, I feel a little bad because I feel like it could be a little bit of vain for me on this song.
Uh-oh.
I feel there are a lot better songs about staying young and rejecting social responsibility, but it is from 1984, so I give it a little slack. I think it's one of those where I probably got to go listen to that whole album, on repeat again, and probably editing this video and adding some of the short term, the short form content, it might get a little catchier to me. So be it. I'm not gonna say anything too bad about it.
Come back
All
next
right.
episode.
Yeah,
Oh, it grew on me.
it grew on me,
No,
right?
okay. Yeah.
Okay, so the next song is Black and Blue Miss Mystery.
Yeah, this one I think captured their sound and where they were trying to go in terms of um getting more mainstream and more popular. I thought it was a pretty catchy power ballad. I don't think it's as good as Out of Love by Blue Murder, but it's still, I think, one of the better Black and Blue songs. So I wanted to highlight this one, as long as we're talking about that band, as one to touch on and say, give another listen, think you like it.
I have a little different feel than the last one on this one. Although I'm not a fan of the verses, but it has a little Night Ranger feel to it for me. And so, like you said, that's where the sound that they're trying to go for, I think. I really like the chorus and the backing vocals that they had with this song. And like I said, it gave me a little, I mean, it's 84, so it gave me a little Night Ranger kind of feel to it.
Yeah, that's a great compliment. I mean, as great as Night Ranger is. Yeah, great song, real catchy, great guitar solo. My
Sure.
one tangent I was going to bring
Oh,
up
that's
about
right.
Black and about Blue
Blue
Murder.
Murder. Yeah.
So, in doing the homework for us and listen to the whole record, track number 2, Michael,
Okay.
the lyrics police is going to come out in you. So
The what?
song, lyric police.
Oh, the lyric, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you're gonna yeah. So
What's the
song
song
number
called?
2, Sex Child.
Oh, yeah, I can just imagine.
So in the verse, I looked at him like, holy cow, that would not fly nowadays. And my first thought was like, holy crap, it's almost like he was saying to Kip Winger, oh, she's only 17, huh? Oh, I'm gonna see ya and I'm gonna raise ya. And with
And
this,
this
I'm
is
like,
off the
holy
Blue
cow,
Murder
he's
album?
going pot all in on this one. I'm like, oh, okay, that one's not gonna fly with Mike.
I'm surprised that-
Mike's gonna have a big
How
no to say
about
about
a
this
red
one.
flag? We'll lose our TikTok membership and
Yeah,
Instagram
yeah,
membership with that
yeah.
one. But I'm glad Brad did
So,
not
but-
choose that one for me to
But
get the
different
siren
time,
out.
different place. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 9 songs on that album, just like the Whitesnake self-titled album. But that one I tend to skip more often than I listen to it. That's a hard one to sing along to.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't quite. You
Does it
can't-
have any N-words in it?
It doesn't go Guns N' Roses on you, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to get to Valley of the Kings a little
It was
quicker.
probably high in Jeffrey Epstein's playlist. Let's just
It
say.
was.
Yikers. All right.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to move on to the next song. Our next song is Company of Wolves, The Distance.
Take the distance, you got me losing my persistence.
So this is one that we talked about last time as well. I better get my specs on, getting old. First of all, a little bit about Company Wolves. I just don't think, I don't know of anybody else that knows this band. Like, I've never talked to anybody that actually knows this band, but they came to Exclusive Company. I think they had a concert in Green Bay that I couldn't go to because I wasn't old enough. And they signed the cassette that I have. I think I still have it somewhere down here in the basement. But really cool guys. And then I had the cassette in my car, so I listened to it over and over. And they just had a lot of songs that, you know, for the time period that resonated with me. So The Distance, I like the start of it. They sing right away. There's like no open. There's a boom. They're starting. I like the melody. It's not cheesy. It's pretty simple though, but effective. The solo is decent, but it doesn't fit in with the song. Like I like the solo, but it's like one of those that like, okay. Could have gone with a different song with that solo, but
Yeah, this was a new one for me. Like, I had heard of the band, but never heard any songs, so I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I love it. Good guitar playing. You know, yeah, the solo was a little different, but
yeah, it's just didn't feel like it fit. Like just like if it kind of almost took you out of the song. Versus the good guitar solos like bring you in and like punch your gut with a song.
yeah.
But
And re-listening to it over and over, both the two songs you brought up, and to me that's a good sign that it was a good band. You know, when you're not just one and done, you keep listening
Mhm.
over and over. And kudos to you to bringing it up.
Yeah, I really like this one as well, and makes me want to dive in and listen to the whole album because I was pretty impressed with this one.
the song is I Don't Want to Be Loved by Company of Wolves.
I don't wanna be
This next one, I actually had a different one I was going to pick, but then as I listened to this one again, I changed, when I was getting down to my other songs, and then I changed. I'm like, okay, I gotta have you guys listen to this one. It just had a lot of real meaning to me back then. It's got a really cool intro. It's a rebound song. This hit home for me when I was younger. It's about loss and moving on, and then that rebound person is going to get hurt because you had your heart set on, the previous one, and so I kind of knew how I felt like during that time frame. It's got a good bridge.
There's no easy way to tell you.
And because he feels bad and he's explaining it to this new person that's in his life that, hey, don't expect me to love you. Basically, it's I don't believe in that anymore, and that person's gonna get hurt. So it's a really tough song because like he could probably just not date her or not not get involved if he's that hurt, but I mean, that's kind of the way life is, and usually that rebound guy or gal is the one that suffers for it. But so that one hit more than the other one I was gonna bring up. But
Yeah, and then that was my first thought when I was listening to it. I'm like, oh, the lyrics of this is Mike's bringing this to our attention. So, and yeah, I liked it. It was a good song.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I thought the chorus was repeated a few times, too many toward the end. I think it probably could have been a minute shorter, and it might have been a little better. But
yeah, I agree.
otherwise, it it still had me intrigued enough to want to listen to more of their stuff.
Yeah, I think most of that album I liked. I didn't really dive into the other ones. There's a couple that I know pretty good, like I said, because the cassette was in my car for a long time. But yeah, so it's one of those. So I want to go back and give a listen to the whole album again. All right, our next song here is Baton Rouge, Slave to the Rhythm. Okay, so a little bit about this band. I don't know this band, to be honest with you. I actually sent a message to Doug for the next song because I heard it on the radio. I'm like, who is this? But for this, so when I went back and listened to this band, I had some of their songs on, and this one came up. I don't know enough about them to really, dive in and say anything other than, I just discovered them. This song had a little White Snake-esque vocals. I love the guitar work. I love the groove of the song. So I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about this band. This is not one that I knew going into this like the other two.
Yeah, and I think it's them coming out in 1990. It was right when grunge was right on the doorstep, so it was just bad timing on their part. But yeah, super catchy. Another song. I was driving around just singing on top of my lungs. Just glad I was in the car by myself. So
Yeah, Baton Rouge. I was familiar with them. They are
Really?
a really good band. Yeah, yeah. And I wasn't familiar with this song. I think this song's on the second album that they did, if I remember right. And yeah, I'm more familiar with the first one, but makes me want to go back and listen to more of their stuff because what I have heard from them, I have liked.
So does anybody know like are they still around, or was this like a couple and done, like you said, around grunge? I want to do a little bit more research into them, but
yeah, I
yeah.
haven't looked them up.
What I want to talk about is Baton Rouge Walks Like a Woman. This is the whole reason I looked into Baton Rouge, and it's awesome that you've heard of them, Brad, because every once in a while, instead of my Spotify, I'll have satellite, and a band will come up that I don't know, and I'll send Doug a text, and sure shit he knows that, whatever. But I sent him this one because I actually thought this was like a new song from Sammy Hagar. It sounded like Sammy Hagar. I sent it to Doug. He says he was listening to it in the shower. Then on that same trip where I got the David Lee Roth vaccinated on a phonograph needle lyric. This came on again, and Carol is like, "Well, I think that's a sign that you gotta bring it up in your next show." So I did. I bring it up, and like I said, when I first heard it, I thought it was Sammy Hagar, or even David Coverdale.
Same
It
here.
has
Yeah.
a little bit of both of them. And like I said, it makes me want to hear more from them. So that's really
Yeah.
the only reason like I've heard it now twice, and I've never heard it before, this song. So
Yeah. And I was just cutting the grass and listening to Spotify, and Spotify brought it up to me last summer. And I'm like, oh, a new Sammy song I haven't heard before. And then all of a sudden you look at the play. Wait, this ain't Sammy. Who is Baton Rouge? I'll check them out. Yeah. And then I put them into my rotation. And then that was a couple weeks later. You asked me about it. I'm like, just listen to it in the shower. Yeah. Super,
that's
super catchy. Yeah.
that's hilarious. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think this one had the lyrics for me to scour. Like when I had you guys' songs on, I was in the living room and had Spotify pull up the lyrics, the ones I could. So it feels like it could have some lyric police problems, but I don't know. It was kind of catchy, and like I said, it threw me off guard because usually I know because they don't play a lot of obscure stuff on the hair metal channel on satellite. And when they do put something on there, like for sure was my go-to. But
Yeah, Walks Like a Woman is one of those songs that I didn't know it back in the day, but it ended up on one of my playlists that I made about a year ago that I have like 30 forgotten bands and some of my favorite songs from those bands, and this particular song happened to be on it. So when I saw this one on your list, it's like, oh, I can re-listen to this one, but I already have it. So that was pretty nice.
well, it is kind of nice when like bringing up bands like the bands that everybody's brought up today, other than like this one. I mean, I've heard of the band, so but it is nice to give a re-listen to because sometimes you get into all these depends on the timing too. Like for example, one of them I almost brought up was rock skiing, and I would have never listened to rock skiing except my friend Randy had rock skiing cassette, and we'd have sleepovers and we'd each pick a cassette to listen to, and we were each hoping the other ones would be short and done quick, and but then he did rock skiing, and there was a couple of songs I really liked off of that one. So it's kind of one of those where it's like you guys are bringing stuff up, and it's kind of good to go back
Yeah.
and give it a listen to. And like I said, even Vane, like some of those songs that I really was dogging were kind of catchy now, and I'd probably listen to the full thing and not skip. Next up, we have Gene Loves Jezebel, Tangled Up in You. So I kind of beat last week, or last time I beat the dead horse of Gene Loves Jezebel, but instead of going with Jealous or Kiss of Life, which is a good one, I did this one because they actually did release it, and I do remember from the concert that it was really cool live in Alpine Valley. I really like the chorus. It's just not like any other songs. I don't think they're really a glam metal band. I think they're kind of a different band, but because of the time frame for this album, I felt it was very unique. And like I said, the song for me at they opened up for Billy Idol at Alpine Valley, and we were still up on the grass when Gene Loves Jezebel was playing. So the acoustics of Alpine Valley when you're up in that grass is just really cool. And then of course Billy Idol didn't sell out, so they let everybody that came down in the grass go to the stadium part of it, and I ended up getting like second or third row for Billy Idol, so that was kind of cool. He had broke his leg or something like that, but it was just a great show, and I've never heard of this band before that. So again, it's probably not a normal band from what we would normally be talking about, but I like this catchy tune.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, this was another one that I wasn't familiar with. And yeah, I mean, kind of poppy,
Yeah,
more
definitely.
than some of the other stuff we talked. To me, it kind of sounded like kind of replacements, yes, kind of to me in that kind of vein. It's some I don't know if I would put it in my playlist, but if it came on, it wouldn't be something I would skip.
So
I'd
if
be,
you
oh,
ed if
okay.
you if you edited the video, you might You might overtime. You might main it.
Yeah, next.
No,
yeah,
I like
next
it.
week.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to be one that I just wanted to squeeze this one in. There's probably other ones I could have fit, but again, this is a little bit unique, and maybe for our listeners, they can pop that one up. But
Yeah, I don't think I had heard this song before. I remembered the band being popular in the late 80s from the MTV era. They were getting some play. Uh, Definitely not in the hair category, but it's a little bit more maybe college radio
yeah,
uh,
Mhm.
type style.
REM, Human Radio. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like some of these, like I said, they just kind of even like classic rock bands get sucked into the hair metal time frame. You get the Alice Coopers and Van Halens and such, and then in that section, and then when hair metal's dead, they're still going with other stuff. But I know that Gene Los Jezebel's got a bunch of other stuff. I really haven't listened to them. They don't feel like I said, this genre, but this is just one of those catchy songs that when I saw it live was really good. So next up, we've got Wasp Forever Free.
So I went with Wasp. One of my two all-time favorite vocalists. I just love the grit in Blackie Lawless's voice. So and this was kind of his, I guess, their take on a power ballad. Great singing. I love the sound of the drums, and it's just too bad that I think right after this is when Chris Holmes left the band. He was such a great guitar player. Their solos. I mean, they're not shreddy, but they're singable, and that's part of what I always found intriguing about Wasp.
I never really given Wasp a lot of my time. Listen to this song. I like the switch up halfway through. I love the lyrics. He's finding peace through loss. Like this was a really good song. This is one of those that, I kept on repeat while I was working and, over and over. And I'm like, oh, this is really good. And I've heard of a few Wasp songs. I feel like them as a band, I need to give another listen to. It's just one of those bands where it's like, okay, I didn't really give a chance to.
yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't say I wasn't a Wasp fan back in the day, but I never listened to them or put them in rotation. I think they had a couple of songs on MTV that were a little bit more shock value that made me think that they didn't have any songs that were kind of that were like this. Yeah, I like this one a lot, and I was glad you shared this one because it makes me want to dig into their catalog a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Next up, we have Wasp again, Sleeping in the Fire.
And I mean, the vocals, it's almost to me like his version of a blues song. The way, I mean, it's long drawn out singing, and just, I mean, another catchy tune. Hoping there was just something you guys hadn't heard before. Kind of dig.
Well, ironically, Doug, I actually have heard this before, and
Okay.
I have it on one of my songs of the day, and the date was June 7th of 2018, just for reference. But so I did, I'm like, I remember doing this one, and so I had to look it up. I love the symbolism of the lyrics. I mean, he's consumed by temptation. When they say Lucifer, you might think of, oh, it's a devil music or whatever, but it's more like symbolism. Lucifer's magic, it feels right. Everything you do that's wrong, it always feels right. But then when you do it, that's kind of like I mean, I feel like that's what he's pulling out of this song is the symbolism of that temptation. It feels good. If it makes you happy, do it kind of thing. But inevitably, you're going to get burned. And I just felt like they really hit it home with that song.
Yeah, I had never heard this song before, and I did really dig it. So you hit this one out of the park, Doug. I was listening to this one on repeat, and the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. So again, makes me want to dig into a little bit more
Yeah,
of what
that whole
Wasp
first
had to
record
offer.
is
Yeah.
great.
So what this tells me
Nice.
too is that you guys did not listen to my songs of the day back in June of 2018. And I don't remember why I picked it. A lot of times I pick a song because of, significance of birthday of the artist or, something significant. back then, but I don't remember. I looked back on Facebook or whatever. I didn't see anything on the reason why I picked it, but I knew of this song. But again, like Brad said, it just Wasp always looked like one of the, weren't they one of the naughty list with Tipper Gore? Weren't they one of the
Oh yeah.
bands?
Yeah, one of their song titles was pretty naughty, and I remember reading in the Nothing But a Good Time book, how Nikki Sixx was talking about their stage shows on the Sunset Strip. They were always in competition with Wasp to see who could up the other one in terms of stage theatrics. So it was another one of those
Was
things.
this was the raw meat from Jeopardy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so that record that Lennon, that Tipper Gore wasn't a big fan of, it's called Animal, F like a Beast.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that. So
we-
actually, and Nikki Sixx and Blackie Lawless are actually in a band together previous to both these bands. They were in a local band called London back in the Sunset Strip, and it was kind of one of the bands that just about everybody was in at one time on their way up.
I did have a conversation with the shout out guy, Charlie, on TikTok, and we did talk about Wasp. And then we also started talking about Dio. He asked me if I like Dio, and he realized that the greatest hits of Dio was the very beast of Dio instead of the very best of Dio. For some reason, I thought that was Wasp,
Oh.
because we had two conversations about that. Next song up, we have Lynch Mob, When Darkness Calls.
So my absolute favorite guitar player in the world. I'm a die-hard George Lynch. Shout out to Brad's shirt. So both these next two tunes come from the second album, and Robert Mason joins in, and just a stellar vocalist. And he's currently the singer in Warrant, and he also did a stint where he was the background singer for Ozzy Osbourne on the No More Tears tour. That's
really?
kind of a little known fact. He was backstage with the microphone doing backups for Ozzy. Yeah, just a killer song. And if you haven't heard the record,
Well,
stellar guitar playing by George.
and I love when its song starts picking up. Ironically, I'm not sure how I feel about the vocals, but the music felt to me like prime Dokken. I mean, it just felt like another Dokken song.
Yeah.
Again, maybe I have to go back and listen to the vocals a little bit more, but I wasn't, maybe because it felt like Dokken and it felt maybe off to me because it wasn't Dokken.
Yeah, I really like this song. I think the thing with Lynch Mob that threw me off a little bit, because I had a hard time with Dokken breaking up. So it was like, okay, Lynch Mob, they're going to come out, they're going to do something different. And then Don does his solo album that comes out within a month or two. And I remember getting both of them hoping for some Dokken sound. And I remember kind of being surprised that I liked the Lynch Mob album better than the Don Dokken solo album. And I listened to that first Lynch Mob album, Wicked Sensation, like from start to finish a ton of times. And then when the second album came out and it wasn't Ani Logan on vocals, it was Robert Mason, I kind of felt betrayed a little bit. It's like, hey, you had something really good going here and you couldn't even do another album with, and I don't know if they had a falling out or what, because I think Ani ended up back in the band at some point later on anyway.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think the first song that I heard off the second album was Tie Your Mother Down. And it's like, well, that's not even their song. It's, I mean, heads up, you're covering Queen. Yeah. That's a tough band to cover. But if Lynch Mob has a different sound, this isn't my entryway into that. This is a cover imitation. And then the Wicked, or the Tangled in the Web song had horns in it, which, it reminded me a little bit
of the same, like an extreme type.
Yeah, and I think right around the same time Faster Pussycat put out Whipped, I loved their second album. That was by far my favorite one that they did. Where there's a Whipped, there's a way, that song on that first song on the second album. The first song on Whipped had horns and keyboards, and it didn't sound like a Faster Pussycat song.
Nonstop to Nowhere.
Right.
I'm on a late train. I love that song. But yeah, it had a totally different vibe.
It had a different vibe to it. So I needed to go back and re-listen to this second record because I remember liking a couple of the songs, but I remember not liking it as much as that first album. So I was glad you brought this one up because I did really like this song a lot, and I don't remember it from back when it came out. But
Yeah,
it,
it was
it
just
was
different that, Robert Mason was more just a straight up rock singer, whereas Oni Logan was more kind of bluesy. So
Mhm,
it made it the second record feels different for sure.
it did.
Totally different band.
And I know
Almost.
George kind of had a little problem with that. He actually brought Glenn Hughes in from Deep Purple fame to kind of help Robert Mason become a little bit more bluesier. So I think George would have hoped that he would have been a little bit more,
Mm.
Wicked Sensation-ish on this record. But
Well, speaking of this record, our next song is from Lynch Mob as well. Dream Until Tomorrow.
yeah, kind of a laid back power ballad type song. This is one of the songs that I love listening to lyrics on this and sing along with it. And I'm not normally a lyrics guy. Kudos to Robert for how he did on this song.
Yeah, I felt this was another bonus Dokken song. It actually makes me want to check it out more, check more of these out, because I think, like Brad said with the first Lynch Mob one, I don't even think I listened to this one at all back in the day. I listened to the first one, and the same thing with Don Dokken. And I got both those cassettes, and I probably listened to Don Dokken maybe once, and I didn't really care for it because I wanted more Dokken. And Lynch Mob, wasn't Dokken. It didn't have the Dokken feel, but it was better. I had more listen to it, but I don't know why I didn't. I don't think I've ever heard this album at all. I mean, I know we saw them in concert, and I'm sure they played some of these songs. I don't remember, but yeah, it really makes me want to check out more of these. And the end of the song, it's 2 minutes longer because George Lynch just goes to another place for the last couple minutes of the song. It's
Yeah.
like he just went on his own outer space or
Yeah.
whatever he did. But I mean, it's not bad. But like all of a sudden, it's like, okay, where are you going with this, George? And he's like, I'm just on a different plane right now. So like the last 2 minutes of the song.
Yeah, and George, I mean, especially on this record, I mean, his guitar sound just changed compared to Wicked Sensation, which a little bit more, and even that wasn't as, a little different than Back for the Attack. But to me, on this one, it was almost like what Eddie Van Halen did on 5150, where it's like, okay, the Brown sound, all that is gone. I'm going for a completely different guitar sound, and I'm just gonna try rely on some different songwriting, like you said, where bringing in horns on some songs, sitar on a couple tracks.
This track I really liked a lot. This was one of those that, like Standing in the Fire, I was listening to this one on repeat and was really getting into this song. I think of the ones that I do remember from this album, I think it was my favorite. So to go back and make sure I listen to the whole thing, and just glad you brought this one up because this one really got me interested in that second album again.
Good.
Where maybe the first time through it was like, oh, I wanted more Wicked Sensation. This doesn't sound like that.
Yeah, 92 is such a shift in like music. Yeah, I was probably Faith No More, Soundgarden, that kind of thing at that time. So, again, so maybe I did hear it the first time or whatever, but like I don't think I have at all. But yeah, so yeah, appreciate you bringing this up. I definitely got to put that album on, and and maybe
Yeah,
go back.
1992.
A lot of things were going on in 92 for me.
Yeah.
So, and in the music world too. So big
Yeah.
shift, and then I started probably getting into like the Soul Asylum and Hootie and the Blowfish, that kind of song, that kind of music, instead of our bands that are starting to fizzle away, and it's still putting out albums, but they weren't maybe as good or whatever. And I'm getting into 92, late 92, 93, just a totally different vibe. But yeah, so appreciate you bringing that one up. Our last song is Steelheart, Down and Dirty.
So this one is my all-time absolute favorite singer of all time. What a range Milo has. So I went through and tried to pick a song maybe you guys hadn't heard other than the, Never Let You Go and Everyone Loves Eileen. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one as much as I do. And just a tour de force vocal performance. It's great songwriting. It was too bad. I think it was like right after the second record is when Milo had his accident. The lighting truss fell on the stage and hit him in the head,
Oh my
and he was
gosh.
in the hospital. And he said he woke up and he couldn't sing anymore, and it took him years for his body to rewire itself, and so
Wow.
kind of ruined their momentum.
Well, I think I'll go next because I don't want to end on a bad. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. But I never heard about that reason. That's why he didn't sing. But I really was not a fan of the verses. I like Steelheart. I must have skipped this to get to a different one. I actually like the other album as well. Probably might even be a little bit better. Listen to this, going back and listen to this. He's telling a story with a lot of I saids and she saids. So I didn't really, but again, I'm more of the lyric police, and you don't even bother with lyrics as long as the,
No.
the music's good. But again, it probably would have been better if Spotify didn't have the lyrics on this, but because it did, it's like, okay, I said this, and then she said this, but I could see this being a fun song live. I don't. You've seen Steelheart live? They do
Mhm.
this one. I
They
love the
didn't the
chorus.
last time I can't remember when I saw them first time in like 91 if they played this. Well, they must have. I mean, they only had the one record
Right.
to play from at the time.
But as far as the not liking the verses, but then you switch to the chorus. I love this chorus. The kid's catchy. Again, I could see it being really fun live, doing
Yeah.
live. But verses, it is what it is. I shouldn't be so nitpicky on that stuff. But once you get to the chorus, then I'm all
Yeah.
in.
Well, but I mean, everybody's looking for something out of a song, and you're more, being a former singer of your band, lyrics are important to you.
Yeah. And you can I guess you can have fun, but like, I guess the older I get, I look because I'll pull up my old Black Widow, song list, and I'm like, oh man, that was horrible. What did I write there? But then I think, well, I was in junior high when I wrote this, or
Yeah.
so I was 14. Of course, I would have write something like this. But then I see the lyrics up on Spotify, and I'm like, that seems like a 14. No offense, Steelheart, if you're watching, but if it takes me out of the song, and that's kind of why I like those other ones that he brought up, because even if I don't like the song, like you could feel if you can feel the meaning of it, and the lyrics really hit you. And it also is like the time and place that you're in too, if it has more meaning to you. Because maybe Company of Wolves wouldn't resonate with me now if I heard them for the first time. I don't know. It could be something similar to that. What are your thoughts, Brad? Down and Dirty?
Yeah, this one, I like this one. This one forced me to go back and revisit that first album because I really loved when they came onto the scene. I loved Milo's vocal range. I thought it was like, wow, this guy, he could rival Jeff Tate or Bruce Dickinson in terms of range, and he's just soaring vocals. I thought the songwriting on the first album was it was a little less of what I wanted. I thought the second album took that step forward and had the
Agreed.
sound what I was hoping the first album was going to be. Unfortunately, it didn't get a lot of attention because grunge had hit by then. But I kind of thought of this song as like part one of the Late for the Party song on the second album was the part two of this would have been a real catchy song to hear live. But yeah, that his vocal range is wow. And then yeah, after that accident that he had live on stage there, I don't know that he surfaced again until the Rockstar movie. I remember hearing his vocals in that movie, to Mark Wahlberg singing, and it's like, that's Milo. He's back.
Yeah. Give
And
me
he's haunted.
blood. Give me blood pollution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always appreciate listening to you guys because that's another nugget of information that I didn't even know about with that movie. I didn't know that was him. Not that I thought it was Mark Wahlberg, but I didn't know it was actually
Yeah,
him
there
singing
was
that.
two guys that did the vocals for the, so it was Milo and then Jeff Scott Soto, who was a
Yeah.
singer for Ingve. So both of them, they kind of did half and half.
Yeah. And then the guitar player in that movie was Zach Wilde, who obviously played with Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bass player was Jeff Pilson, who played in,
Yep.
Dokken, and then eventually Foreigner. And then who was the drummer, Doug? Do you remember? Was it somebody
Wasn't that that was Blas Elias from Slaughter?
Oh,
How do you guys remember all this?
yeah.
For music nerds.
Yeah, and I was telling Charlie from TikTok, I'm like, you ain't gonna get anything by Doug or Brad. Like these guys, their knowledge is just unbelievable. So I'm always in awe getting to talk to you guys about music, and I just appreciate your knowledge. And it actually makes going back and listening to this stuff exciting for me to because you guys are excited about it, and even if I don't, if I find a lyric or whatever, but I don't know, it's kind of reinvigorated uh me to go listen to these bands again or these songs again. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I
Yeah,
believe
just
that,
because the song came out 40 years ago, if you've never heard it, it's still new to you now.
I believe that was the last song.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe and share with anyone that loves music. Any final words?
Yeah, just
Anything
fun
else?
getting together with you guys again this week, and and I'm glad you guys brought up some tunes that I hadn't heard. And so yeah, I think that's the point of the whole exercise, to share some songs that mean something to you with a couple of your buddies, and hopefully they like them as much as you do. And hopefully some people out there in the internet world are maybe never gave these songs a chance, and spreading the music love.
Yeah, I like I said, I enjoy talking, even if it was just us three, and I appreciate Brad even coming up with the idea. But the fact that now I know that there's other people that enjoy hearing about this and talking about this. I mean, again, if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments, because we're open for anything. And
Yeah, we just want to thank any of the listeners that stayed with us to the end here. We just thanks for hearing us out, and comments, and things you'd like to see, things we can improve.
yeah, definitely. I've had some verbal feedback. I'd love to see some of the online feedback if you guys have anything. Each one of these hopefully we get a little bit better each time. And like I said, even if it was just us three talking, it's great. But I know there's so many people out there that would love the same thing about bringing up songs and checking them out, and especially if you haven't heard of it. Young and old people. I've met a lot of people now on TikTok sharing our just snippets of our videos. There's people that like the long form, and there's people that have maybe a shorter attention span, just want a little bit of vibe from it. And I know we've got a lot of good feedback from the Jeopardy game, so we'll have to do another one of those down the road here. But yeah, if you have any suggestions, and definitely share with people that you think would love to hear this kind of stuff.
Yeah, give us your 5 tunes you'd want us to hear.
Yeah, put it right down there in the comments. Let's see the 5 that you would love to hear. I want to see some of those. Anything else, guys?
Nope. Just look forward to the next one, and looking excited about what game you come up with next time.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on doing one until I heard that Dave Lee Roth song, and I'm like, especially since we were all talking about vaccinations a few years ago, and like that is actually a pretty good, I've heard that song so many times, but I'm like, that lyric just caught me. But anyway, rock and roll, everybody.
All right. See you guys.